𝐂𝐻𝐼𝐍 की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। माता पृष्ठा दिशति भगवद आराधन विधि यथा मातु प्राणी स्थितिरपि तथा भक्ति भगिनी पुराणाद्या जीवा सहज निवास्ति तदमुगा अतः सत्यं ज्ञातं मुरहर भवानेव शरणम। So this learned sage, by his experience, he is saying that after studying all Vedic literature and all Upanishads, Vedanta, Puranam, 4 Vedas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, volumes of literature. So, the conclusion is that, oh my dear Lord, Bhavaneva Saranam, you are the only ultimate shelter. This is the last stage of knowledge, as it is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Bahunam Janmanam. After struggling for many, many births to acquire knowledge. So, when one comes to this point, Bhavaneva Saranam, you are the ultimate shelter. That is the perfection of knowledge. Our editor has written very nice article, Krishna is the end of knowledge. Yes. When you come to Krishna point, then everything is knowledge, knowable. Of course, so far our knowledge is concerned, but so far Krishna is concerned, he is unlimited. Nobody can know him. But at least to that point, if we can reach, that is also very difficult. Simply to reach that to that point, they are the struggling. So many scholars, so many, still coming to the nearest point, still he says, oh, not Krishna, not Krishna. Oh, it is impersonal, it is impersonal. Oh. So this knowledge is acquired by the grace of the Supreme Lord, by the association of pure devotees, satang prasangat mama vijja sangvida. One can attain this qualification, and if somewhere or other, either by faith or by knowledge or by association or by accidents, if one comes to this point that Krishna, the Supreme, is the ultimate goal, then his life is perfect. Advayan tatta Krishna swayam bhagavan sarup shakti rupetar ayavastha. Now, Lord Chaitanya says that Krishna, the absolute truth, Advaita Tattva, is absolute truth, Krishna. Swayam Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality, the absolute truth in the ultimate, he is a person. In the Bhagavad Gita, you will see in the 11th chapter that Krishna was requested by Arjuna to show his universal form. Because for ordinary persons, that universal form is gigantic universal form is supposed to be, that is God. But they do not know param bhava vajananta. They do not know that this universal form is only an offshoot of Krishna. They do not know. Less intelligent class of men, they think impersonal form or the universal form or even the four-handed Vishnu form, they consider that they are greater. But in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you will find that Krishna, by the request of Arjuna, assumed his universal form, Vishwarupa. Now, after seeing the Vishwarupa, Arjuna was afraid. He was in friendly relationship with Krishna, and when he saw his Vishwarupa, he became too much perturbed in his mind. Oh, what mistake I have done. I took Krishna as my friend, and I do not know how much offences I have committed. Friendly relation, there are sometimes very slacking languages and used, sometimes calling, you Krishna, sometimes so many things, friendly relations, they are very relaxation relation. So he thought that I have committed so much offences to Krishna, and he begged pardon. Out of my impudence, out of my ignorance, I have done so many things, please excuse. Just like a father excuses his son, just like a friend excuses his friend, just like husband excuses wife or the wife excuses, these things are there. Then again, he asked Krishna to assume his four-handed Narayana Rupa. Krishna also showed him the Narayan four-handed Rupa. And then again Krishna transformed himself again into that two-handed Shamasundar with flute as it is, he transformed himself. Now the question is, if Krishna is ordinary person, just like some foolish commentators say, not to Krishna, then how could he assume this Vishwarupa and the Narayan Rupa? Can an ordinary person assume that Rupa, that form? It is not possible. Therefore the answer in the Bhagavad Gita is avajananti mang mudha. Now there is stated that param bhava ajananta, they do not know. Now Arjuna wanted to confirm this param bhava, that the less intelligent class of men who are fond of the universal form or the Vishnu, Narayan form, and there are so many innumerable forms. Advaita, Achyuti, Anadi, Ananta Rupa. Krishna has Ananta Rupa. But the ultimate supreme form is Krishna. They do not know. Param bhavam ajananta. Ajananta means they do not know that param bhava. So here the same thing is confirmed by Lord Chaitanya, that he says, Advayan Tattva Krishna Swayam Bhagavan. So the absolute truth, the ultimate stage of realizing absolute truth is to understand Krishna. Brahma realization, Paramatma realization, they are not perfect realization of the absolute truth, partial realization. Brahma realization means realization of the absolute truth in eternity. That's all. Paramatma realization of the absolute truth is a realization of eternity and knowledge. And Krishna realization means full realization of the absolute truth, means eternity, knowledge and bliss. Without Krishna knowledge, we cannot be blissful. But by nature, we are blissful. It is Brahma Sutra, in the Vedanta Sutra it is stated, Anandamaya Abhyasat, every living entity, Brahma, living entities, they are Brahma. And Krishna is also Parabrahma. The Brahma and Parabrahma, both of them are by nature joyful. They want joy, enjoyment. So our joyfulness is in connection with Krishna. Just like fire and the sparks of fire. The sparks of fire so long manifested with the fire, it is beautiful. And as soon as the sparks of fire falls down from the original fire, it is extinguished. No more beautiful. So, we are in the same relationship with Krishna. He is the complete whole, we are parts and parcels. Just like the complete whole fire and the sparks of fire. When the fire and the sparks are displayed, it looks very nice. Both of them enjoy. And when the sparks, of course, fire has unlimited potency to produce sparks. But the sparks, when is out of the fireplace, then it loses its identity, and this is called conditioned life. We are in that conditioned life. We are fire, sparks of fire. But because we are in material contamination, therefore we have become conditioned. So knowledge means to understand, beginning of knowledge is to understand one's constitutional position. That knowledge is imparted in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, that you are not this body, you are spirit, spark. Dehinasmin jatha dehi 𝐂𝐻𝐌𝐌𝐔𝐍𝐈𝐓𝐘 tata dehantaram prapti dhiras tattva namayati. So you are spark, spiritual spark, you are simply changing dress, that is your conditioned stage. So Lord Chaitanya says, Attaya Tatta Krishna Sang Bhagavan, the absolute truth, Sarup Shakti Rupetar Hayavastha. He is situated in his internal potency. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Jada jada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata abhuthyanam adharmasya paritranaya sadhanam vinashaya sudhuskritam sambhavami atmaya, internal potency. He is situated in the spiritual world by internal potency. And this material world is external potency. Therefore, although external potency is also Krishna's potency, it is not different from Krishna, but Krishna is not here in the external potency. Krishna is in the internal potency. Although this potency is not different, therefore it is inferior. It is inferior energy, it is called. And this is explained very nicely in the Bhagavad Gita. Maya tadamidam sarvam jagat abhakta murtina. By me, the whole spiritual and material world is manifested. Tatamidam. How it is manifested? Just like the sun and sunshine. Sunshine is manifested all over the universe, and sun is the central point. Similarly, Krishna is the central point, and his shining Brahmajyoti is diffused all over. And the part of the Brahmajyoti, when it is covered by the cloud of Mahat-tattva, that is called material existence. So we are in this darkness. So Krishna says, Lord says, so his place is in the internal potency. Sarup Shakti Rupetana Hayavastha. He is situated there in his internal potency. Sangsha Vivinnangsha Rupe Hayya Vistar. Ananta Vaikunta Brahmande Karena Vihar. Now, then Krishna, he expands himself. Eka Bahushyama, that is the Vedic version. One is expanding into many. And how that many is manifested, that is explained here. The Sangsha Vivinnangsha. He expands himself as person himself and as parts. As person himself, that expansion is called Vishnu Tattva. And the Vivinnangsha, separated expansion, we are living entities. We are also expansion. The expansion of Vishnu Tattva is there, just like Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, all the incarnation, all Vishnu Tattva, Rama, Nrsimha, there are so many thousands and millions of expansion. Sangsha, personal self, and separated self. We are also Krishna's part and parcel expansion. That we have got intimate relationship with Krishna. Sangsha viभिन्नांश रूपे हैया विस्तार अनंत वैकुंठ ब्रह्मांडे करेन विहार. So Krishna is both in the spiritual world and the material world. Because we represent Krishna, we are in this Brahmanda condition. But there are many living entities who are eternally liberated. They never come to this. How it is that? Just like the ocean and the rivers. In the river you will find fishes, and in the ocean you will find fishes. But sometimes it may be that the fishes of the river may go to the ocean, but the fishes of the ocean never comes to the river. Never comes to the river. There is no place for them. This is a crude example. Similarly, and as the ocean is far, far greater than the river, thousands of rivers cannot be compared with the measurement of the ocean. Similarly, thousands and millions of this material world cannot be compared with the spiritual world. The spiritual world is so great that millions of material world taken together, it can be dropped into the spiritual world. It is such great. Therefore material world is called 1/4 manifestation of Krishna's energy, and the spiritual world is called 3/4 manifestation of Krishna's energy. Sangsha viभिन्नांश रूपे हैया विस्तार अनंत वैकुंठ ब्रह्मांडे करेन विहार. सांश विस्तार चतुर्भ्यः अवतार गण विभिन्नांश जीव तार शक्तिते गण. The Sangsha, his personal expansion is Chaturbhaha. The first expansion is Chaturbhaha. Swayamrup, Swayam Prakash. Swayamrup, the personal self, Krishna. And when he begins to expand, the next immediate expansion is Balaram, Baladev. And from Baladev, Chaturbhaha, 4 expansion, Kaibuha is guarding, guarding. What are those expansions? Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Vasu. This expansion, Chaturbhaha, and from Sankarshan, all kinds of incarnation. From Sankarshan, all kinds of incarnation come. In this way, we have already discussed to some extent in the previous chapter. Viभिन्नांश जीव तार शक्ति के गण. And the separated expansions, the living entities, they are counted as a different energy of the Supreme Lord. Just like there is difference between the heat and the fire. Fire is with heat, but heat is, although has got the fire qualification, it is not fire. Heat you can touch, but fire you cannot touch. Just like there is some distinction. But there is no distinction also, because fire is also hot and heat is also hot. But still there is distinction between fire and heat. So heat, what is the position of heat? Heat is energy of fire. Similarly, although we are expansion of the Supreme Lord, we jivas, living entities, we are just like heat, not fire. Fire is Krishna. So, সেই বিভিন্নাংশ জীব দ্বৈত প্রকার এক নিত্য মুক্ত এক নিত্য সংসার. This energy manifested as the living entities, they are also two kinds. What are they? Ek nitya mukta. One class of living entities, they are eternally liberated, just like the fishes in the ocean. Take the ocean as the place of liberation. Sometimes the example is given that as the rivers glide down to the ocean and the water is become one. That's all right. That oneness, this is impersonal conception. Everyone goes and mixes, as every river goes down to the ocean, and there is no more distinction which is the river water and which is the ocean water. They become one. That is the monistic philosophy. But Vaishnava philosophy goes further. That why you are satisfied with the water, why don't you see within the water? Within the water you will find there are big fishes and aquatic animals. They keep their separate identity and they enjoy in the ocean. The foolish person, they are satisfied that I am in the ocean now. That is the less intelligence. Go deep into the ocean and see what is going there. Similarly, those who are satisfied simply by merging into the spiritual existence, impersonalists, they are less intelligent. They have no intelligence to see that within the ocean there is individual expansion, individual life, and they are enjoying. Similarly, in the spiritual sky, there is individuality. That individuality is there. And that individuality is reciprocated between Krishna and the individual souls. They are called Nitya Mukta, eternally liberated. And the other class, who are just like in the river fishes, they are called Nitya Baddha. They are, I am going to say, they are limited sphere in the river or in the pond or in the well. The frog philosophy, they are expanding themselves. Frog, how much great is Antarctic ocean. So they are called conditioned souls. Those who are in this material world, although they are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord energy, but because they are conditioned in this material contamination, they are called conditioned by the laws of nature. So the whole process is, to understand this thing means, that why should he remain conditioned under the laws of material nature? Let us try to go back to the ocean and become as big. That should be the philosophy of life. Thank you. Any question?